What's going on YouTube? So many were sad when the Land Cruiser left the US market just a couple years ago. However, Toyota has now brought back the Land Cruiser again, but in a totally different way than the first time. And that's what we're with right now, the all-new 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser. So, let's not waste any time, let's go ahead and jump right in and see what this new Land Cruiser is all about. So the best place to start off here is, of course, with the exterior design. Now, when Toyota was reinventing this Land Cruiser, they really paid a lot of attention to Land Cruisers of the past and paying homage to their heritage as a brand. And as you can see, a lot of those design elements have made it into this model. Now, there's going to be 3 different trim levels for this Land Cruiser. You're going to have the 1958, which is going to be the base model. That one's going to be kind of just the fundamentals and nothing, no extra pizzazz or anything like that. This is the mainstream model here. It's just known simply as Land Cruiser. And then you're also going to have the first edition, which is limited to 5,000 units. Now, in terms of the overall look, of course, you've got that heritage front grille that's going to be located right there. We've got kind of a gray finish as we go down to the lower area as well. The big thing I want to talk about, though, is, of course, the headlights. You'll notice that these are rectangle headlights. That's only on the Land Cruiser version here. If you choose the first edition or the 1958, you're instead going to get a round headlight that kind of looks more like the classic Land Cruiser. So you get 2 different looks that you can choose from basically up here in the front. These are full LEDs, of course, with the turn signal and daytime running light as well. Down here below, we also have rigid industry LED fog lamps. Now, the big difference about this new Land Cruiser versus the previous Land Cruiser 200 we had in the US is that this is essentially the Land Cruiser Prado overseas. That means it is going to be more maneuverable off-road because this is 4.4 inches narrower in terms of our front width. Now, also, speaking of off-road ability, let's talk a little bit about some specifications in terms of that. You're looking at 8.7 inches of ground clearance, which of course is pretty good, and a departure angle of 22 degrees. Now, skid plates are going to be standard equipment, but if you want rock rails, you need to choose the first edition model. Now, in terms of our wheel options, 18-inch alloys are what's going to be standard across the lineup. That is what we have on board with this model here, but we can upsize these to 20-inch alloys with the Land Cruiser trim level. Now, we've got the matte finish around the wheel arches here, giving it that tough looking stance. We also have very boxy looking mirrors. I like these. They have that cool shape, gloss finish on board. We are also going to have blind spot monitoring and heating, as well as our turn signal indicator built in.
Now here at the side, you're going to see that very boxy design that we've seen on something like a Lexus GX. It's basically Toyota's version of that vehicle. And as far as the overall vehicle length, it's about 193 inches long, which places it surprisingly an inch shorter than the all-new 2025 4Runner that's upcoming. Now, in terms of design elements going on, we do have blacked out door handles for this Land Cruiser model, and we also have a blacked out roof rail up top. Now, you're probably also noticing the fact that we have a 2-tone roof. That's now available for the first time on a Land Cruiser. As you can see, we have it paired with this sand color. I'll insert the official name down below. And we also have the white roof option, which looks really quite cool. And if you want to see a blue and white combo, you can see it over there as well. It's a really good-looking vehicle in a 2-tone combination. But as we head around to the rear design, you're going to see that really good Land Cruiser look. Once again, just like the front, we have a lot of heritage elements mixed in with modern elements as well for this new Land Cruiser. Now, let's go ahead and break down some of the design. Of course, we do have a spoiler up top. We also have an exposed rear wiper. As you can see, it's been wiping the mud off of the rear glass of this model. It really, I like to see it dirty because that's, of course, the Land Cruiser's natural element. Now, as we drop down, we have blacked out Land Cruiser branding, blacked out Toyota branding with that Toyota spelled out. And then as far as the tail lights are concerned, these are full LED tail lights. As you can see, we have an LED brake light, turn signal, and LED reverse light setup. I really like the overall tail light shape. As we drop down to the lower area, all of this is going to be finished in a rugged matte black plastic. As far as your tow rating is concerned, Toyota says this vehicle is rated to tow 6,000 pounds. In terms of safety, the Land Cruiser is going to have their latest safety suite as standard equipment on all trim levels of this vehicle. Additionally, it's going to add the new feature of Proactive Drive Assist, which is basically like a highway driving assistant. Additionally, in a premium package on this trim level, you have the availability of getting a traffic jam assist function as well. But guys, there is a lot to show you on the inside when it comes to luxury and the differences between the trim levels. So let's go ahead and dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, now on to the interior. First, we'll take a quick look at the fob. Typical Toyota Smart Entry system. It is branded, so it has Land Cruiser branding on there. You can also get a digital key system. It's going to be optional though. Reaching behind the handle will unlock the door. And let's take a look inside with the interior. Now, as I mentioned, this is the Land Cruiser trim level, and we also have the optional premium package, which means that we're going to get some extra luxury goodies. One of those extra luxury goodies is the fact that our seats have been upgraded from Softex faux leather to real leather. Nice look to these. I do like the perforation running through. This color is called Java, by the way, so it's kind of a brownish color. I think it looks quite premium and makes the overall cabin ambience elevated, let's say. Now down here, the seat controls, we do have several different ways of adjustment. It looks to be about 8 ways of adjustment, but we do actually have a manual thigh extension as well, so that's some additional customizability. Memory seats will be located inside of the door trim, and a manual seat will come on the 1958 model. We did do a first look walk around of that 1958 model if you want to get a sense of what's different about the interior on that trim level, because it does take things kind of back to the basics, while this is going to be a little bit more luxurious and elevated. And now that we're inside, let's go ahead and look at those more luxurious and elevated materials. So, door trim. Brown leather through here with a color contrast stitching detail. Black leather through this center section, and it is padded all the way around that. The upper part of the dash is going to be padded as well. This is a very soft and squishy soft touch plastic. We have a leatherette material that's going to run all through here and kind of underneath of the vents themselves, and more of that down here for this area where your knee might touch. Overall, everything does feel nice and solid. It's not as luxurious, of course, as the Lexus GX, but it is still a pretty high quality cabin. And we'll go ahead and start it. And now let's go ahead and kind of dive into the specific details. We'll start with our gauge cluster here. As you can see, we've got the 12.3-inch full digital gauge cluster on board, reconfigurable to a certain degree, including things like putting your map right there in the middle of the display. Another thing I like is the fact that we've got the head-up display. This, again, is part of the premium package, which is about a $4,000 option roughly on this Land Cruiser trim level. This is the type of thing that would come standard if you're lucky enough to get your hands on the first edition, by the way. As we take a look at the steering wheel, I love the design of this. This is a really cool Toyota design. Got the cool heritage branding as well as the chunky buttons. It is a power tilt and telescoping button steering wheel, with heating as well. Now let's turn our attention over here to our center console. Like the Lexus GX we sampled fairly recently, you can get a cool box to substitute inside of the center console. If you choose that, just be aware you're going to diminish your capacity a little bit. We fit 5 donuts inside because this Car Confections, we do the donut test. As you can see, that is our emblem right there. So we do the donut test. 5 donuts will fit inside if you want them chilled. So this will be a ice cold donut, or you can get a bigger amount, but they might melt. Up in front of that, you get your 2 cup holders, wireless phone charging pad, another little storage area, 3 USB ports right there, and then we've got our traditional style shifter. This is a nice feel in the hand. You can shift manually right there. Let's go into reverse. We'll take a look at our backup camera. As you can see, nice looking resolution on board with this backup camera. We can also clean off the camera right there by pressing that button. And overall, the resolution is very crisp. As you back up, it becomes translucent. You can also get a trail camera on board as well. And you have an electronic parking brake located right next to the shifter. Now, obviously, this is a Land Cruiser after all, so it's really a lot about capability, no matter which trim level that you choose. So one of the things I want to show off, I'll just move these wires out of the way, is the fact that we've got a lot of buttons here. So we'll start here, drive mode controller, and then you've got, various functions such as your crawl mode and different terrains. We have a disconnecting stabilizer bar. You have your center and rear locking diffs, and then you have your four-wheel drive controls. Now, up above, we have a dual-zone automatic climate control system. Nice and easy to adjust. Just press that up and down for your two different zones. We have heated and ventilated seats as well, and then our heated steering wheel is located over here. Just has one type of heat. I did notice earlier that the 4Runner is going to offer a multi-stage heated steering wheel. And then up above here, we've got a 12.3-inch display. So with this version, you are going to get that premium display included. It has Toyota's latest infotainment system. We have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. I'm not plugged in out of necessity. It is wireless. I'm just plugged in because I need to charge my phone up a little faster than the wireless phone charging pad, by the way. Inside of our premium package, we have a 14-speaker JBL sound system, and let's give it a sample. Overall sound quality is pretty decent. It is not going to be as good as what you get in the Lexus GX, though, because this does have some overlap in price. Just be aware of that. If you want a Mark Levinson sound system, you can get that in the Lexus GX. That will be superior to the JBL. Now, as we kind of wrap up the front of the cabin, we've got an auto-dimming mirror with home link remotes. This is a digital camera rear view mirror as well. And then another option that we have on this premium pack version is a standard size sunroof. This is all you're going to get with the Land Cruiser. You're not going to be able to get the panoramic style sunroof like you can with the Lexus GX.
Now let's check out the rear seats of this all-new Toyota Land Cruiser. Now finally, we do have some official legroom specs, so I can go ahead and share those with you. We're looking at 36.7 inches of legroom and about 35 inches of headroom. Now I'm 5'9" for reference. This seat is adjusted to Drew, who's 5'8", and we did bring our handy dandy ruler here at Car Confections. We want to provide all those measures for you all, and we're sitting at about 6 inches of additional knee room, and my feet can partially slide up underneath the seat. It's a little bit tight, but it can slide up underneath of there. Now, I also want to point out the seats do recline quite a bit, which is quite nice. You take a pretty good nap like that. We also have a full down center armrest with 2 cup holders inside. And looking at other features that we have our own climate control adjustment. So we have a 3-zone climate setup in this Land Cruiser trim level. We also have our fan speed adjustment. Down below that, we have a 12-volt power outlet, and we also have 2 USB-C ports. One thing I do want to point out, though, is that heated rear seats appear to not be available on the Land Cruiser. You will have to choose the Lexus GX if you want heated rear seats as an option. Now, turning over to the door trim area, it is going to be made of nice material, soft touch on the upper part. We also have leatherette going through the center section, some more brown leather as well. And then when it comes to door storage, you have quite a bit of it in that lower area. I also want to point out for your rear vents, those are going to come out up here in the ceiling, so it's nice and close to your face to keep you cool on a hot day. Now, walking up to the cargo area, I do want to point out fan favorite feature is still offered on this Land Cruiser, so you can actually pop the rear glass independent from the tailgate itself, so I'm happy to see that they're carrying over those items that a lot of the customers really liked about their previous Land Cruisers. And of course, we do also have a power tailgate. This is standard on the Land Cruiser trim level and above. So if you get that 1958, you have to open it manually, but I don't think a lot of you guys will mind about that. As far as this area is concerned, we're going to have no official no official cargo figures from Toyota at this current time. However, this vehicle is very similar to the Lexus GX. And because there is no third row offered at all, we can kind of compare that to the Lexus GX figures without a third row, and according to Lexus, it's around 90 cubic feet as a maximum cargo capacity with the seats folded down if you do not have a third row option. So no third row on this vehicle. If you want a third row, you will have to choose the 4Runner in specific trim levels to get that, or of course something like a Toyota Sequoia. Now here at Car Confections, we do want to provide all those measures for you, so let me go ahead and get my measuring tape out. And from behind the second row of seats to the rear, we're looking at about 43 inches of overall cargo length. I do want to point out there is not any handles to fold the seats here in the cargo area, so I will have to go up there and do it manually. And when I get those seats folded down, I do want to point out that it is not a completely flat loading floor, so do be aware of that. From behind the front seat, we are sitting at around 79 inches of overall cargo length. A lot of you guys have been requesting overall cargo height, so I will add that in as well. As far as cargo height, we are going to be looking at, let me see if I can get my measuring tape good and ready. We're sitting at about 32 inches of overall cargo height, and then as far as cargo width, we're sitting at a very impressive 49 inches wide. So this is a very square vehicle, so that does, of course, help your cargo capacity. Additionally, we have a little bit of space up underneath of the cargo floor right here to put maybe something like an umbrella. Your spare tire is integrated underneath of the bumper itself. You know, in this test drive, we're going to be talking about quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now, but we're going to go ahead and start out with a hard acceleration to see what this hybrid system is all about.
All right, and there's an acceleration up to 60 from a standstill, and yeah, this is really quick with the iForce Max hybrid system. Now, of course, if you've been following our channel for a while, you know that we've done some pretty extensive coverage of the Lexus GX, which is a sibling to the Land Cruiser. But the fundamental difference is the powertrain, because the iForce Max hybrid system, which is a 2.4 turbo 4-cylinder with the electric componentry, that's the only way you can get the Land Cruiser right now. And then the GX, the only way you can get that right now is a 3.5 liter twin turbocharged V6. So those are very different powertrains, obviously.
3.4 liter.
But the point is that what I'm trying to make is the fact that I think, based on this, initial acceleration here and a little bit of time on the street, which we can't take too long, but just a little bit.
10 minutes.
10 minutes is telling me that the experience behind the wheel is actually pretty similar. Yeah. I am impressed by that aspect. I really like the instantaneous torque that the electric motor provides as well. Let's get some traditional things as well that we like to have here at Car Confections. I think it's time for a sound level reading at 55 miles per hour.
.3 decibels is our official sound level reading. I say official lightly because we are still here in California, so we'll be waiting to get one of these back home in Kentucky for our official sound level reading. However, I do want to point out, if you want to learn more about our sound level readings as well as see all this vehicle's competitors, the Lexus GX, for instance, go to carconfections.com/sound level readings, which is where we posted all of our sound level readings on this channel. So certainly some things to look at there. I also want to talk quickly about ride quality here with this Toyota Land Cruiser. The Land Cruiser certainly has a very impressive ride quality. Just from the minute that we're able to be here on the street, we've hit a few bumps and it really soaks them up well. As you would expect out of an off-roady SUV, the suspension soaks those bumps up really nicely. The seats are very comfortable. I will point out, though, that it does have a very truck-like drive experience. You can feel some undulations in the suspension for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And there's small vibrations that enter into the cabin. We talked about that with the Lexus GX. At the end of the day, it is still a body-on-frame SUV. So if you're wondering, does it have, you know, I think a classic SUV feel, that classic Land Cruiser feel? The answer is yes. It does have a classic Land Cruiser feel behind the wheel. But you know, I think crucially, compared to the previous generation, which we have also driven a couple times, this feels infinitely more agile. That's something that I really like. The fact that this is a more maneuverable SUV. As you kind of go down the road, you just get a sense that you can guide this a little bit better than that previous generation, which was quite the monster, really, at the end of the day. Just a huge SUV, the 200 series. I think that's, you know, the reason why that Toyota ultimately decided to go to this smaller body with the Land Cruiser, and I do appreciate that.
Yeah, as far as other elements to point out, we do have an 8-speed automatic transmission on board. So even though we do have a hybrid system, we have that 8-speed automatic. So that's quite nice in that regard. We also have full-time 4-wheel drive, as you would expect out of an off-roading beast like this. And, you know, speaking of off-roading, we did have the chance to take this Land Cruiser on a pretty intense off-road course, so we'll go ahead and insert in some footage of that if you want to learn more about how this vehicle is capable off-road, because Toyota did actually give us that experience. So very happy to share that with you guys. We'll insert it now. Alright guys, so here we are off-roading in the all-new 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser. I'm going to do most of the talking as we're going over these big obstacles, and Drew is going to do the driving. Right now we are in crawl control. The vehicle is doing a lot of work for us. Very impressive so far. Look at this.
Taking the first obstacle like a champ. Obviously, a lot of rocks there. Very steep.
Yeah. It never shows up on camera, but I feel like I'm literally looking straight at the sun. It's certainly good to have this camera system
30
here.
degrees, it looked like, is what we were doing there, so that's pretty
high
steep,
grade, that's for sure.
And the trail camera is really shining right now because we can use that to check out kind of which direction we're going when you have a blind corner like we just had right there.
I do also want to point out, so we're using crawl control. We also do have the center locking differential locked, and we are in 4 low. So as you can see, we're heading into a little bit less of a rock obstacle and more of a dirt obstacle. This is really going to be testing out the suspension flex in this vehicle. As you can see, the right side is lifting up.
Yeah, we're getting some,
30 degrees, right? Yeah, so we have all of that information right here in the display, which is quite cool.
And obviously this is, set up by Toyota to really show off the capability of the Land Cruiser, so that you can feel confident, when you go out into kind of the unknown, you're going to have the capability to tackle whatever nature kind of throws at you.
Yeah, it's handling this like a champ. Wow. Certainly a lot of tilt when it comes to an off-road obstacle like this. That's really where all of these things come in handy. And we are tilting basically at the maximum 30 degrees right now.
There we go. That was a good obstacle right there.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, it normally doesn't show up on GoPros. So on the camera footage, it's probably not going to look that cool, but I promise you, Toyota really has designed this course to kind of show off the maximum ability. As you can see, this is really where your approach and departure angles are coming in handy, because we are going in really steep slopes and then going down, and there has been no scraping whatsoever actually with this course, which is pretty impressive so far. Now, as far as fuel economy is concerned, it is rated at 23 miles a gallon combined, which is better than what you're going to get on the Lexus GX equivalent with the V6. So certainly the hybrid system does have some benefit when it comes to fuel economy. That's for sure. And as far as today's airball and slam dunk, I think the the slam dunk has really just got to be the off-road capability of this vehicle. As you're seeing demonstrated right now, it has incredible off-road capability. This is a very difficult off-road course with a lot of turns, a lot of big rocks that we're just climbing over with ease in this Land Cruiser. So it truly is a Land Cruiser, that is for sure. Now, the airball, what we're going to say on that could be just the overall price, especially if you choose something like the first edition model. It comes in around $60,000 or $76,000, which is a bit much, and certainly does have quite a bit of overlap with the Lexus GX. Heading back into some really kind of like a rock bed here. Once again, we are utilizing the Land Cruiser's crawl control function, which does allow you to go at speeds of 1, 2, 3, or I believe as well as 4 miles per hour. Of course, while we're here on the rocks, we have it toned down to about 2 miles per hour. Oh, fun.
Water.
We're about to head into a water element.
A little bit of mud. Not gonna quite make a splash at this speed, but
no.
It's still
a little
fun.
bit too tight of a course to make a big splash. All right, and we're basically at 30
we got some
degrees.
mud on the tires, though,
yeah.
so there. Put that to the test.
And while we're just kind of putting along here on the off-road course, I do want to mention resale and reliability. That is something that we are integrating into all of our Car Confections reviews. For Toyota as a brand, I do want to talk about this. When it comes to reliability, Toyota is actually ranked number 1 in our Combined Reliability Index. And our Combined Reliability Index takes into account a lot of different trusted automotive sources when it comes to reliability data and combines them together to give you that composite number. Toyota is number 1, so that's certainly something worth noting. Now, when it comes to resale value, Toyota is also ranked very, very highly. It is the number 2 option when it comes to 5 years and 60,000 miles, and I believe the number 1 option when it comes to 10 years and 120,000 miles. So if you'd like to learn more about our reliability and resale value metrics, please go to carconfections.com/reliability and carconfections.com/resale value. Those are very important figures that I'm sure you're going to want to learn more about, especially if you're looking to buy a vehicle. Buying a vehicle is a very important decision, and it's something worth considering, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands.
Now, in regards to pricing, if you want to see all of the trim levels, you can see that on the screen right now. Of course, there is quite a bit of variation from 1958 all the way up to the fully loaded first edition. This is the Land Cruiser trim level. We also have the premium package, which I assume will be a pretty popular choice. This is going to be coming in at $66,550 according to Toyota. Now, if you're looking to buy a Toyota Land Cruiser or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/new car quotes. Now, why you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price on your new vehicle. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealer negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that's going to be it for our in-depth review of the 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decision, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, not only are you going to get access to a lot of cool car content that I'm sure you won't want to miss out on, you're also going to get more access to stuff on this Toyota Land Cruiser. We expect to hopefully be testing this out for a full week in the next couple months, so you'll want to stay tuned for that if you're interested in purchasing this Land Cruiser model. If you're already part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.